Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is April, and I'm with Clear Path for Veterans New England. And I'm very excited because we have a special guest tonight, my friend Bruce Buckley, the Chief Executive Officer at Soldier On. Hey, Bruce, how are you?
Good, April. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. So, friends, let me just catch you up on tonight's live stream. So, if you are here, we are streaming live on Facebook. We are on the Clear Path for Veterans New England page. We're on the Soldier On Facebook page, and we are on the Clear Path YouTube channel. So, I encourage you to drop us a hello, tell us where you're watching from, and also if you have any questions along the way, friends, please do drop them in the chat because we'd love to answer any of them. And if you are catching the replay, friends, no worries. We will make sure that we reply to you. Just leave a comment and we will absolutely get back to you. So we started this series last week, and really our focus over the next 6 weeks is talking about veterans, homeless veterans, and really kind of the numbers are staggering. And I'm so excited to share with you about Soldier On tonight. But before we get started, just kind of to bring it home, veterans are 50% more likely to become homeless than any other Americans due to poverty, lack of support networks, and dismal living conditions. And about 1.5 million veterans are considered at risk of homelessness. That's staggering, friends, for all of these heroes that have served our country. So our goal tonight in using this platform is to really bring more awareness. So sharing is caring. Feel free to share our live, or if you are catching the replay, share this video so we can help more and more veterans, because all that we do, Bruce and the Clear Path for Veterans team, your help in bringing awareness and, of course, donations and all of that great things make a world of difference. So thank you. All right, so let's get started, Bruce. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you ended up at Soldier On.
Well, I started out as a career as a CPA and had my own little practice here in Western Massachusetts. And about 20 years ago, Jack Downing, who really has created a lot of what Soldier On is today, came to me and said, I just took over this agency. It was pretty small at the time, and I need some help with the accounting. So I said, sure. And that's where it began 20 years ago for me personally. And I really have, not only personally grown with the agency, but personally grown as the agency has grown, and really kind of shifted my focus from, taking my, the financial skills that I had and fortunately still have some, and
That's a good thing.
translate that into working really with the veterans, with the individuals, with the needs of these individuals, and have been able to grow and help the agency grow. So that's kind of how I got here. It was never part of my plan. If you have a plan in life, I certainly, this is what happened. But it's been very rewarding, very informative, and really has helped, myself grow, as I said earlier.
Awesome, awesome. So, I bet my friends are on the Clear Path side wondering a little bit about Soldier On. I know some of our friends are very familiar with your program, but can you tell a little bit about Soldier On and kind of the mission that you guys are on?
Sure. On a very simple level, the mission of Soldier On, it's a private 501c3 nonprofit. And it's, to oversimplify it, but it really all works. It's to end veteran homelessness. And that's what we're about. And I think, that's the simple mission. And it's really what we do. We certainly have grown, and I could talk for hours, which I, obviously won't, but about all that the programs that we do and the individuals and the veterans and the needs that we see out there, and that we've certainly never had a grand vision so much as we learn, we adapt and we adjust to the needs that we see. And who we serve are veterans who are homeless, at risk of homelessness. They come in all shapes, sizes, and ages, as you can imagine. We work in jails, we work in shelters, we work in the general community. We're out there meeting veterans where they are. We are not big on offices. We Very few of our staff has what you would call an office. Most of our staff has cars that we are able to provide, and they're out, whatever their job is, going to the veteran. Because I think a lot of agencies, a lot of programs, it's someone else's job to get to them, and we feel as if it's our job to get to the veteran. So we'll go up in the woods, we'll go to jails, we'll go
Wow.
wherever the veteran may be and that needs us. And that's who we serve. We serve men, we serve women, we serve, veterans who have a little bit of a need, a little bit of a blip in life, and we serve veterans who, as I'll talk about later, need us for the rest of their life in our permanent housing program.
And tell me a little bit about kind of how the collaboration between you and ClearPath and how that relationship started and worked together.
Sure. Well, honestly, the Clear Path relationship, we're familiar on this broadcast with Clear Path New England, but there's a Clear Path, kind of the original Clear Path out in the Syracuse area. And we met with them when we started a program called SSVF, and that was part of our territory. So Clear Path out there became a real great partner for us. We actually subcontract our peer program through them, so they help us operate our SSVF program. And we've worked with them for, I'm going to say, 10 years. That's how we started with the ClearPath family. But I think more importantly for tonight, ClearPath New England was started by Scott and Donna, who I'm sure many people are aware of, and brought it to Massachusetts and Fort Devens and contacted us, and we began a great partnership with them a couple of years ago as a newer ClearPath that really has not only the same service model pretty much, but as importantly, it has the same really commitment to serve the veteran. And I think if we can combine those efforts, this is what we get, a great partnership. And that's how we've started to work together. And we've got about 4 or 5 or 6 programs that have kind of spun off of that original um, initial desire to work together. So that's how we met ClearPath. We're doing more and more with them. We have a wellness director who's been working with the staff at ClearPath on programming. Our female veteran program has taken advantage of the not only the facilities that at ClearPath, but the programming. And again, we're looking at doing some transitional housing and maybe some permanent housing. So all of what we do and all of what ClearPath does, we're kind of combining into one better effort.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, last week we had Randy on and we were talking about our homeless veteran reintegration program. So, it's a great partnership, and we look forward to all the great things we can do together. So, let's talk a little bit about kind of some of the programs that you guys offer. So, tell me a little bit about, like when you go to your website, you offer a lot of different services. And we, like you said, we could talk for probably hours, but friends, don't worry, we're not going to. But tell us a little bit about the transitional shelter programs, because I think one of the things, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think a lot of times people think of homelessness and kind of that transitional piece as being living on the streets, and there's kind of that stigma behind things. And that's not to say that doesn't happen, but looking through your programs, you really cater to kind of all different aspects of veterans that are struggling. So let's talk
Yeah,
about that.
we have over time developed a multitude of programs that deal with all the needs that we've seen out there. And transitional program is really how the agency started. Before we started, meaning Jack and then myself, about 2001, another group ran it, and it was kind of spinning its wheels, I guess. But Alls it was a transitional program, and I don't mean that to minimize it, but it had never really grown beyond that. It was on the VA campus in Northampton or Leeds, Mass, and we still have a building there with veterans in a transitional program. And what transitional is, it's not just a night like a shelter, it's a program. And a veteran is eligible to be in it for up to 2 years. And in the program, obviously, you get shelter, you get meals, you get access to the medical services of the VA, but do a lot of programming, and we also really look to make the personal connection with the veteran and establish not just a great relationship, but a community. And again, the program is for up to 2 years. We have a property at the VA campus in Northampton, as well as we bought a building and renovated it in Pittsfield, Mass, where we have another 60 beds. So we've got about 120 beds of transitional housing. And again, sometimes it's for, never is it for a night. It would be for several weeks, or it could be the full 2 years, depending on what the veteran needs.
And do you find that there's different times of year that the need is greater? Especially now that since COVID happened, like I'm not sure if that changed the numbers at all.
Well, COVID changed everything, I think, for all of
Yeah,
us,
yes,
and
true.
we're part of that. The seasonal piece, does winter bring more people needing shelter? Yes. So I guess if we look, there may be a small spike, but generally, the veterans that end up in our program are really suffering or are really in need of something that goes beyond the weather. And we see the veterans come in for a lot of reasons. Again, we're in all the jails. We're very active in the Veterans Court in Massachusetts. Every Wednesday at the Holyoke Veterans Court, we're there with the judge and the DA working to try to divert a veteran who may have to go to jail to go into Soldier On. We get referrals from the VAs around New England. We get referrals from other shelters. And again, there are veterans on the street or family members call, and we're able to help those veterans as well.
And I'm just curious, speaking of kind of COVID and how it changed things, did that change in terms of, because of like separation? And I'm just curious, kind of that whole like we had to keep our social distance and masking and then testing. Like, did that affect all of that in the shelters and in the housing?
Yes. On a very practical level, one thing that the VA did was the VA allowed us or other agencies through our SSVF program to pay for hotels. Generally, in normal times, we cannot pay for a hotel. We have to find permanent housing, not temporary housing in those programs. During COVID, veterans that would have ended up in our transitional, we were putting in a hotel and we were providing meals, we were providing support and services and transportation, but that isolation was part of the whole program on really a safety level. I think one of the things that I talk about when I talk about homelessness is I think a lot of people that don't deal with the homeless population don't understand. They think sometimes homelessness is drug addiction, they think it's alcoholism, they think it's mental health or economic hardship. And I say that's not really any of it. It could contribute, certainly does, but there's a lot of alcoholics that aren't homeless. There's a lot of drug addicts that aren't homeless. And I think what homelessness is loneliness. Somehow these individuals have ended up alone because most of us, if we have an active social circle, whether it's family, friends, or church or whatever, we make up our social circle with, you wouldn't end up homeless. Someone would step in and help you. So I think the folks that end up homeless, that's part of it. So I think isolating them, though it was a safety health thing that I certainly understand, was really difficult. I mean, imagine
Sure.
being stuck in a hotel room for 8 months,
Right,
you know?
right,
And
right.
I,
Wow.
so I think, but that's what did happen. And now we're getting off of that. The numbers are back increasing dramatically. We've all stopped that practice.
Wow. And what a great explanation too. Thank you for sharing that because it's definitely a different perspective that isn't really talked about as much. You like you said, you hear mental health, mental wellness and addiction, but not loneliness as being a contributor. So thank you. So you mentioned the SSVF program. So tell us a little bit about that and what that program stands for.
So SSVF is an acronym, like the government loves to do,
To
is
confuse you? No, I'm kidding.
what's that?
I said to confuse you? No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Supportive Services for Veteran Families. And that program was started about around 2011. And that's really the largest single support system that we have. We're in 4 states. We're in much of New York State, all the way out past Buffalo and up to Canada. We're in a lot of Western or all of Western Pennsylvania. We're in central and northern New Jersey as well as Massachusetts. So we have staff in all of these states. They all have a RAV4. They all have a computer in the cloud and all the technology that they need. And we've got about 80 or 90 staff out in these regions that every day are out working with veterans who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And what we do in that program is we have financial resources of the VA to pay rent, utilities, security deposits, and it's really a housing first model. So it's find a veteran who needs assistance, get them into secure, hopefully permanent housing, pay the rent for several months, pay the utilities, whatever we need to do to get them safe and started, and then figure out what they need, whether we provide it or whether we attach them to other nonprofits or we attach them to the VA or whatever benefits that they may be eligible for that they're not receiving. We then work with the veteran in that manner. Occasionally, we'll bring them into our transitional program in Massachusetts because that's what they need really at that point in time. And, we provide drug and alcohol counseling and have the VA support, and, we can help them get their life stable if that's a factor. And that's what SSVF does. And we really have literally helped, thousands and thousands, I'm sure 10,000 or more veterans in the last 10 years. And we continue to do that every day in all of these communities. And for us, nobody sees it. People see buildings that say Soldier On. People know localities with Soldier On buildings in it, but they don't see that because they're just out in a car every day doing it, the
Interesting.
staff.
Interesting. And so let's talk a little bit about kind of how you help veterans with permanent housing. So we talked about transitional supportive service for their veterans and their families, and then permanent housing, which that's something that you and I talked earlier, and I can't wait for you to share with our friends online here tonight.
Sure. Yeah, I think Jack Downing, who I was doing the money still, and he was running the program. He noticed that a lot of veterans in transitional would go through the program, get back on their feet, go out into the community, have some difficulties, and be back with us a year or two later. And really came to the conclusion that we need to build and, more importantly, support permanent housing. So we turned into real estate developers in about 2008 with absolutely no real knowledge how affordable housing is developed. And we built our first building in Pittsfield, Mass. That's brand new construction. In 2011, it opened, and 39 formerly homeless veterans moved into that building. And many still live there 11 years later. Many have passed away while they live there. One of the things that we do is we build on most all of our permanent housing properties, we put in a columbarium, which, if you don't know, a columbarium is to inter the ashes of someone who passes away. So we build patios with an eternal flame, some benches, and a lot of the veterans that live with us stay with us for eternity, essentially, in the columbarium. And it's more reflective of the permanence of what this community has. It's not just a building, it's a real community. And a lot of the veterans choose to stay there as part of their eternity. And a lot of the veterans who survive spend time there. They see the names, and you're not forgotten. So the permanent housing piece became really what we try to do more of. And we just opened our seventh property, a 70 unit apartment building in Tinton Falls, New Jersey,
Oh,
that filled up really immediately. December 1st, we opened that building, and the buildings are beautiful. They're top notch. They're fully equipped kitchens. They're apartments that you or I would be happy to live in. Mostly new construction or brand new renovations, but really it's the services that we provide. And again, this is where I could talk for a long time, but every veteran has a case manager, and that case manager knows what you need. They help coordinate your services, they help coordinate your transportation. In New England, we have a 15 vehicle and growing transportation system with 12 person buses, a lot of vans, wheelchair accessible handicap vans, and some cars. And we have 15 formerly homeless veterans who drive for us. And every day we have veterans driving other veterans, whether they're in our program, whether they're in the community. And then we're also a mass Medicaid vendor, which helps us fund this operation so we can do paid rides through mass Medicaid. And we do that on a daily basis as well. We have two full time attorneys on staff that work essentially with the veteran. We do a will, a power of attorney, and a healthcare proxy when they move in. Again, this is all at no cost to the veteran. And these attorneys help them clean up any legal matters that might be kind of a barrier to their future. And those aren't visions that we had, but needs that we saw and have been able to figure out a way to provide that. We provide a meal a day. We have two full time commercial kitchens that are staffed with formerly homeless veterans, one in Pittsfield and one in Agawam. And every day they make meals that go out to all of our veterans in all of our buildings in a permanent housing arrangement, again, at no cost to the veteran. So again, it's transportation. We have a wellness director who's there working with the wellness, the lifestyles, the better choices with the veteran. And we have a lot of community supporters that also provide services to the veterans in our permanent housing. So I'll stop talking here in a minute, but basically what it does, it provides a community that all the needs hopefully have been addressed and the veterans stay there. So a group that's struggled with homelessness generally remains in our permanent housing for the rest of their life.
wow. Um, I'm just curious, how big is Soldier On? How many are in your organization in making all these efforts happen? Because it takes a village, right?
Sure, takes a small city, but we've got about 150 employees. We've got a lot of community partners that we work with that add a whole nother layer of service and support. And we've got the VA. And the VA is big, it's bureaucratic, but it's also powerful. And if you really kind of learn how to help navigate the VA system, it can be very beneficial. And I think that's what we're good at, is navigating that system, because it can be very frustrating for someone individually to try to work their way through that system at times, but that's what we're there to do. And they become a strong partner to have on our side, as well as the state of Massachusetts. I mean, Department of Veteran Services in Massachusetts is a great partner, and we do a lot with them. We receive funding from them, and we're able to accomplish a lot more because of their commitment to the veterans in the state.
Wow, That's amazing. And so, if I were a veteran, kind of, and I needed some assistance, what are the requirements? Or if I have a loved one that's a veteran in need, how does the process work to
Well,
get some
one
help?
thing I think that's important to know, and it's confusing for a lot of people, is a veteran, we are probably the lowest bar of veteran service that you're eligible for support. So a lot of individuals who served in the service um, might not even think of themselves as a veteran because they only made it 6 months, or they didn't make it through, or they had anything other than a dishonorable discharge. We're able to generally usually provide support and service. So that's the definition of a veteran. So a lot of people, you could say, "Are you a veteran?" and they'd say no. But if
Right.
you dig a little bit, you might find that they're eligible for Soldier On or other agency services. I actually talked to some of our partners on one of the real estate projects on, their application says, "Are you a veteran?" And I said, "I think you should rephrase that and say, have you served in the United States military for 1 day?" Because that could make you
Interesting.
eligible for that.
Sure.
So that's, the qualification for a veteran. I think what you're eligible for, we help you determine. We have a number. I'll throw it out now, and I can throw it out again. 866-406-8449. And a formerly homeless veteran, any day from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, will answer the phone and then do kind of a screening process and then determine who to send you to next through that process. So if you do need help, or if you know someone who needs help, that's a phone number to call. You can also go to our website, which is www.wesoldieron. There's a WE before soldieron.org. And there's also a way to ask for help through through the website as well. And from that, there's a process that begins and can hopefully help meet their needs.
Awesome. And so, what if I wanted to volunteer? Do you accept volunteers?
Yeah, we do certainly accept volunteers. I think we don't, the volunteer program is generally specific. I think they're great with specific events, with helping with a specific effort. We in New Jersey had a lot of local volunteers that stepped up, and they brought um, some good, some items that help fill the rooms up with, whether it was dishes or bedspreads. We fully furnish our permanent housing, first of all, and then a local group, the New Jersey Elks, really did a lot to help us get some additional supplies for the veterans. And then they came and helped set up the rooms for the veterans and helped do some of the work beforehand. So there is a way. I think contact us through our website is a way to volunteer as well and find out what opportunities there are.
Well, Bruce, you have been great this evening in sharing all of that information. And Soldier On, what an amazing thank you for all that you and your organization do. And we're very honored to be able to collaborate with you and really help change veterans' lives here in New England. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Clear Path, again, we've really hit it off. We've accomplished a lot, and there's a lot more we're on track to accomplish. So, we enjoy the partnership. We enjoy the people and not only the staff, but the veterans that we've met through Clear Path, and love to extend, and help more veterans.
Awesome, awesome. All right, friends. So thank you so much for tuning in. As you know, again, we are running our 50-50 raffle. We started 2 weeks ago, and it really is to benefit the homeless and at-risk veterans on their journey home. As we talked last week with Randy and his team, we are working on our homeless veteran integration program. And what's great about our 50-50 is that we both win, right? You purchase a ticket, and 50% goes to ClearPath and the Homeless Veterans Program, and 50% of that jackpot can be yours. Right now, our jackpot is up to $20,020. So, woohoo, you could have half of that. And we have a great early bird prize for, the luck of the Irish, of course. And we're all Irish, especially in Massachusetts. And especially if you're in Boston in some way, we have 2 Celtics tickets to the 98.5 Hub Suite. And we are calling that winner on Thursday at 9 a.m. And we're coming in live from Apex Entertainment in Marlborough. So in the chat here, friends, I'm dropping a link. No veteran should be without a place to call home, and together we all can make a difference. So thank you. And again, remember, sharing is caring, friends. Share this stream, share this video with people, your friends and your family, not only to share about ClearPath, but to also share about Soldier On and all of the things that are available to veterans and their families. And I loved, Bruce, how you talked about kind of the definition of a veteran and kind of what services they might qualify for, because if they haven't served active duty or a short time, they might not recognize themselves as a veteran. So thank you so much. And again, thank you to you for your time tonight. Thank you for Casey and her help this afternoon. Friends, I look forward to seeing you on Thursday live at noontime from Apex Entertainment with 98.5. We're going to be announcing our winner. And thank you for all that you do. And for our veterans, thank you for your service. We appreciate you. Have a great evening. Thanks again, Bruce.
Thank you.